set of data.
For this specific set of data. For this specific set of data.
It would be even more specific. Scholars are not annotating the independent and dependent variable for specific sets of data.
Yeah. And they're just also not knowing where to go, like where in everything to look.
Yes. And so you named it as being a procedural or conceptual.
It's procedural.
Procedural. So now, since you know it's a procedural, you know the gap, and now you're going to reteach.
Yeah.
Okay? So what reteach, do you think it should be model or guided discourse?
It's model.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna, because I'm teaching the annotations.
You're teaching annotations, and do you have enough scholar work to show the proper annotations?
Yes.
No. Because only that small percentage of scholars master.
Oh, I see.
Right?
I see what you're
So
saying.
if you use the guided discourse,
Yeah.
you can show multiple examples and show the step that they missed. But now, since you have to model it, you are going to use the model.
That makes sense. And then for my model, I would want to choose data, like I would want to choose a similar situation where they have a figure that's going to trip them up with the table, so they know to look at the table, and then something on the table that has like that there's multiple dependent variables that they would have to choose between. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
So now, we're going to do it.
Sweet.
Okay? So, with the modeling, I'm going to give you, let's say, maybe 5 more minutes. 5 minutes. So we're going to take 5 minutes.
And I'm modeling this question. Okay. Yes.
Like I'm a student.
Great. Okay, so today we're going to dive into IOD 401, which is something that when we looked at our CC mastery, we only had, CCRS mastery, we only had actual percentage, 30% of kids getting this correct. So when we look at this, IOD 401 says selecting data from a complex data presentation. I want you to take notes as I model what we're about to do. We're going to go in and figure out how do we break down a complex piece of data. So pencils ready? Yep.
What you specifically want kids to pay attention to are your annotations.
Okay.
So mention that. Say, hey, while I am modeling this, I want you to specifically pay attention to my annotations, because that's the gap,
Got it.
okay?
So as I'm modeling, I want you to specifically pay attention to my annotations. I'll be asking you a few questions afterwards about my annotations, so make sure you're paying attention. So let's look at question number 6. Right away when I read it, I say, according to the information in table 1, the highest and lowest biomass recorded in ecosystem number 1 was. So from our boot camp, we know that this is a fetch question because of the according to the information. So now I'm just gonna I'm gonna annotate where to find the information I need and what information I'm getting. The first thing I see is table 1, I'm gonna box that in, that's where I'm going. I'm gonna go to table 1, and I'm looking for the highest and lowest, that's the min and the max, in ecosystem 1. So now when I go back to my data, I'm looking at table 1, yep,
And say, make sure your paper is looking like my paper.
perfect. Make sure that your paper matches board. Thank you. So now, make sure that you have it. When I go find my information, I'm looking at table 1, ecosystem 1, and I'm looking for the highest and lowest biomass. Okay, so I flip back to my packet, or back to my notes, or my data. I'm not looking at the graph because the graph is figure 1. I'm gonna focus my attention on table 1. Table 1, it wants the min and max of minimum and maximum biomass of ecosystem 1.
Now,
Yep.
scan and make sure everyone is at table 1.
Got it. Make sure that you're at table 1. Put your finger there so I know that it's there. Good. So now, when I look at this, there are 3 different columns, and we're used to just 2, independent and dependent variable. That's what makes this more complex. Our independent variable, go ahead and label it, I see your pencils moving, is the length of time. Time is our independent variable. It's measured in months. Our dependent variable, there's actually 2 of them. We have one for ecosystem number 1, and we have one for ecosystem number 2. So there's 2 sets of data in this one table. In our question, it wanted table 1, ecosystem number 1. So I'm gonna look at my second column. Put your finger on your second column. And I was looking for the minimum and the maximum, the highest and the lowest. So as I go down here and I look through, I notice that 26 is the highest. I'm gonna put a little plus sign there. I notice that 17 is the lowest. I'm putting a minus sign. Love the annotations. Table 4 is doing a really good job of staying with me. And now immediately I have my answer. So I go back to number 6 and I'm looking for 26 and 17. So when I look back at number 6, A says 25 and 12. Nope. Cross it off. B says 26 and 17. That's my correct answer. I'm going to circle it. And that should be it. And then that's our answer. We're done. Simple fetch question. Took less than a minute, which is what we want.
Okay. So
Okay.
now think about in the beginning, like the difference between you teaching it at first and then now.
Yeah, so I think it's more specific. So it's this idea of like, instead of like in the beginning when I was teaching it, it was like when you see these questions, they're easy to answer. But now it's like, here's how you break that down and where to find the answer. So it's more than just like, yes, I know that that's where I'm looking. Here's why I'm not looking here and there. And that adds to like the CFU questions of like, when I go back to ask, why didn't I look at figure 1? Great. How did I know that it was, I needed to look at column 2? So there's just like easier ways to double check your, double check the understanding of scholars. And it actually gives them like a map of how to find something.
Yes. So, shout out to you.
Thanks.
So now, what I want you to do before you release the kids into practice, go ahead and name what you are looking for in the CFS.
Oh, okay.
So you've done the thing, right? So now, how are you going to release scholars to make sure you're stamping that the annotation is key for them to get to their mastery?
Okay. So you're going to have 5 minutes silent and solo to work on the next set of practice. I'm going to, when I walk around, I want to make sure that I can see your specific annotations. When we talk about specific annotations, I want to see you boxing in the location of where you should be looking to find the data. I want to see you underlining what type of data you need to record. Those are the two things that I'll make sure that you look for in your answers, all right, or in your question stem.
Also, should I be doing something with the minimum and maximum?
Oh, yeah, and so then,
So stamp
yes.
it, so stamp it for me again and saying specific things that you are
Okay.
going to be, during your aggressive monitoring, what you will be looking for.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So, and I want to make this more applicable, so I'm going to change just a second.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
So as you do the independent practice, I'm looking for 3 specific types of annotation. 1, I should see you boxing in the location of where you would find your data. So table 1 is boxed in, ecosystem 1 was boxed in. I should see those boxed in on your paper. 2, you should underline any key information that will help you discern what type of data. So highest and lowest, then I should see you annotating highest and lowest. A difference, I should see you annotating a difference, what type of data it's looking for. And then, what was the third one? Now I'm lost.
You said,
Okay, good. Yeah, because when you think about those questions, it's like sometimes they ask for the highest and lowest. Sometimes it asks for the difference between the two. Sometimes it asks for like, which one was like the highest of whatever. So I want to make sure that they're underlining what will directly map them to the type of data. Okay.
So just when you're just doing it, so just giving them the information, making sure you're understanding the CFS that scholars need to get to that master.
Got it. Okay, cool.
So IOD 401 complex data, I know that you were looking at, you were doing EMI this week. Do you think you'll be able to fit in IOD?
Yeah, I think so in AP for all, I think all this week it's this unit it's EMI, but I can fit in on Friday after the Strawberry Data Lab, this Friday.
Yes.
I can do a quick reteach after because the Strawberry Data Lab won't take that long.
Okay, so I'll be in Friday. You want me to come in?
Come in the
Fifth period or sixth period?
5th period and come in towards the back end.
The back
Because it'll be
end.
after the Strawberry Data
Okay,
Lab.
so 5th period.
Should I do it before the Strawberry Data? Strawberry?
Actually, you should do it before the Strawberry data because this is a key, like they'll have data sets that they can look at 2 different sets or have to identify 2 different,
Yeah.
freebies.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Okay. And then it's fresh on their mind.
Yep.